Hello, this is Dean Pozzi and Gemma Pozzi. I am the ProverbsGuys President, and Gemma is the gatekeeper to keep me halfway sane. I'm in love with Jesus Christ, and since 1981, when God delivered me from the darkness into the light, and we're here to tell you that we love for you guys to listen to our shows on ProverbsGuys on Sundays. I do a Desginer Talk showing the intelligent, designly creatures, plants, universe. That is evidence, just evidence. It is evidence of a designer, or if it's evidence, I don't see how it can be of undesigned process, but the cause we see of the material universe is better with the designer. We are helpers at a ministry in Gemma's hometown of the Philippines. Beautiful place, beautiful people, and a lot of poor people though that we help out. Thank you everybody for watching ProverbsGuys Ministry. Dan Pozzi and First Lady Gemma
Pozzi.
Welcome everybody to the lead edition. I don't know if I'm out there yet. Was I out there yet? Where are we? Hello. I'll keep talking just in case. We are the ProverbsGuys, and for some reason I'm seeing a blank screen. What's going on here? There we go. There's something. Alrighty. That looks like my face is talking. That's me with a picture of my friends in the Philippines at a church my wife attended, the one that was talked in our intro. So tonight you're getting a late edition, or early if you're other parts of the world, of Desginer Talk, where we explore design. I am an award-winning designer, and so it's very, very interesting to me to just see some of the evidence in the world that we have, some of the evidence that we can all see, and see if the best explanation or cause for that phenomenon we see is guided or unguided evolution. So nobody's out there yet, but let's, in case somebody comes in, we'll put in, copy our invite to our live show. Anyway, excited tonight. I'm seeing another video by, I think they're called Exhibition Films, something like that, on the incredible animals that defy evolution. And again, as a designer, I think design, my mind is constantly thinking about it. And when I look at things, especially in the context of the intelligent designer and the almighty God that I believe in, compared to somebody who believes that there's not evidence for this intelligent designer, I just have a lot of questions. Because as designers, as builders, we should be able to build this stuff. We know this is not the 1800s with Charles Darwin, who thought that, everybody thought at the time that a cell was just a piece of mush, piece of jello that would be easily created out of non-living material. And we found the deeper we look, the more magnification we get, the more detail and complexity we see. And the killer is going into seeing the amount of specified information. Yes, it's information. We can read it. We can understand it. We can decipher it. People call it codes, information, And that's what it is, but it's specified. And that's where you got to really ponder, how did that happen if it wasn't directed? So we're going to get into that. So let's see here. Boom. Incredible creatures that defy evolution. Look him up. He's got a bunch of stuff. It was Dr. Martin. He was a dentist who got, let me get that. There we go. That got challenged by some students that, how did this stuff happen without design, without an intelligent designer? So let's see what we got here.
So in the fall of 1971, I went to Baylor in Dallas and gave my first lecture. It was on the evolution of the tooth. And I talked about how these fish scales gradually migrated into the mouth and became teeth. And a couple of my students came to me after class that day and said, Dr. Martin, have you ever investigated the claims of creation science? Well, that was 1971. I'd never even heard of it. At that point, I'd been a Christian for about 5 years. And so I'm thinking to myself, where are these guys coming from? I've never heard of this. And so I said, sure, I'll look into this with you. And I'm thinking, kind of as a cocky young professor, I'll blow these guys away. Well, they asked me to start studying the assumptions that the evolutionists make. And in all my years, 8 years of scientific education, I had never had a single professor tell me about an assumption. And so we started looking at the assumptions. And I began to realize they're making some claims here that really the assumptions aren't valid when they tell us rocks are very old and all these kinds of things. And then they asked me to start studying some animals and see if I thought that animal could evolve. Well, the first thing that we really studied together was this little bug called a bombardier beetle.
All right. Now, this is back in the 60s when he was doing this, maybe the 70s when he started investigating this stuff. And again, as a medical doctor of dentistry, taught evolutionary principles. This was kind of stunning for him because the Darwin or neo-Darwin, no matter what flavor you are today, it's small, gradual changes over millions of years. So let's give you that, but let's see how this happens, because that also can be a trap. That's a big old black widow web, one of the strongest webs in the world. And you're telling me that small gradual mutations is going to give us the biological diversity we see. Let's check this out.
And this little insect, it's about a ½ inch long, and it mixes chemicals that explode. So I began to think, okay, now how would that evolve? Let's say if evolution is true, and you're evolving along here, and you don't have a defense mechanism, because that is the defense mechanism of the bug. So if evolution is true, it had to somehow evolve that. So let's say it's coming along here. Well, the first time it evolves the explosion, what does it do to the bug? Boom, you just splattered your bug, okay? So splattered bug pieces don't evolve. So I thought, how could this have happened? Well, it doesn't blow itself up. It has another little factory inside itself that manufactures chemicals. A chemical acts as a catalyst so that when you squirt that chemical in with these other chemicals that are like in neutral, you get your explosion. Well, the first time it manufactured that little chemical, here it goes again, blew itself up again. But it doesn't. Why? Well, because it has like an asbestos-lined firing chamber. And even then it would blow itself up if it didn't have somewhere for the explosion to go. So it has twin tail tubes. And it can aim these tail tubes all the way up, out the side, out the front. Let's say a spider is coming up toward its side and it doesn't have time to turn around and shoot. It can just take its little gun turret, and aim it out there and shoot. The explosion on this little bug, all you hear, if you're listening as a human, you hear this pop. But scientists have now put that explosion in slow motion. And it's like about 1,000 sequential little explosions, but they're so fast, all we hear is one pop. And so you think, well, now, why would that be? Well, that was a curious thing for the scientists that study this little bug. A lot of them are at Cornell University, some other places. And what they discovered was that if it was just one big pop, The little bug, if he's shooting like a spider, let's say over here, and he goes room, bang, and shoots it, he's going to pop himself right out of there. It's like lighting a burner on a jet engine, so he's out of there. But as long as it is a sequential explosion with his little legs, he can hang on. How would evolution explain a sequential explosion? This little bug messes with all the theories of evolution. There is no way a slow, gradual process is going to produce this bug. There's no way even the newest theories of evolution, like punctuated equilibria, which means evolution happens very fast. Well, there's no way that will explain this little bug. I began to realize, how could this particular little animal, for instance, evolve? It needed all of its parts. It needed everything there all at once, or you just don't have the animal. And my stomach started to churn, if I really want to be honest. And my wife...
Yeah, no, it's cool. Okay, so this is 1960s type of stuff, 70s, 80s. I think he's still alive. And, but I believe his videos were early on in the evolution, creation, debate of our time. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s till the present. And but we now have and let me get you up here. Let's put him back in his backside of the screen. We have a little chart, if I can get to it. Hide you. Okay. Oh, I'm going to replace you. Sorry, I want to replace you. And here is diagram. Let's share this one. I don't know what that white thing is. Where are you? Where'd you go? I'm trying. Okay. Let's get him big on the screen there. Okay, look at that. So we're talking about the little teeny bug about the size of your thumb. And this is what it took. You have the hydrocolon, kind of small, doesn't matter. I wouldn't be able to read it that well anyway. Hydrogen peroxide, is that where we do it? We bottle that and put it in the little brown bottles. And so it's a mixer. We have really strong adhesives, epoxies that are 2-part mix, 2 tubes. You spray them together, you mix them, and it hardens like rock. But this is an explosive chemical. So you mix it up, though, and represented here by the green, but then you mix them together, and boom, you're that bug's. It's already sauteed too. The bug is sauteed and mushed up. Even an old predator that has no teeth anymore could chomp it down. That's kind of like the geriatric bug food. But somehow there's an explosive chamber that holds this stuff without blowing up. Come on, people. Come on. Use your thinker. Let's get off the playground now. Let's get out of the sandbox. Let's get into the classroom and figure we're not reading nursery rhymes anymore. So you're going to tell me now. You tell me. Okay, go ahead. I'm open. I want to build one of these things. This would be totally cool. I got plenty of bugs around here. We can open up the back end and put in that thing. And man, can you imagine your dog? We put something like this in the dog. You're gonna have the best protection anywhere. But look at that. How do we do this? By small, gradual mutations. So we got the stink bug. That's the plan here. That's the fairy tale. We have a stink bug, and then somehow there's a mutation that added the hydrogen peroxide, and the let's see if I can see that one. Hydroquinone, whatever that stuff is. Don't mix them together. Man, I think if we had like a 5-gallon bucket, each of those things, mix it together, wonder what it would do. But anyhow, we got this little bug You see what the problem is, people? You're telling me this just happened without direction. All these mutations. I'm calling. Oh, we got some people. Oh, welcome everybody. Just going through some really cool things. And again, I'm getting frustrated because I want to design this thing. We are in 2026 and we got brains. We got supercomputers. We even have AI to tell us how to do this. And hello. Oh, yes. Missing mod. Thank you so much for yesterday at our millionth view show. And Krista, thanks so much for coming. Do I have a thing up there? Mod, you can come in and save the day again. Krista, you can come in too. Let Steven sleep or whatever. But see my problem here, people. And you know, I think it was probably something like this mod that got you back out of evolution. I know, you know, raise your hands up. I love that. Raise your hands up for evolution, but it's kind of hard. You're talking about this isn't even a nursery rhyme for a 3-year-old. This is more a fairy tale for patty cake type of stuff for an infant. So let's get back to good old Dr. Martin. And again, an evolutionist teaching it in his class on dentistry. And I keep hitting the wrong button. Is anyone surprised? Okay, so we're going to hide him. We're going to replace him. Let's replace the chart. I thought that was kind of cool because I saw that the other day. That really showed because Dr. Martin was way back. I don't think this is the one we wanted. Oh, nope. That's not the one we wanted. I looked up some other ones. This was trying to get to the chart. And then I just Googled it. That's why I messed up. So, incredible creatures. There we are. And this is the kind of stuff that turned him into a creationist. I'm finding it. As I said, here we go.
My wife would tell you my stomach churned for 5 years. It took a 5-year struggle for me to begin to flip the way I think, from thinking in an evolutionary way to thinking in more this animal or little creature, little bug, whatever, was created fully formed, just like it is, because that went against everything I'd ever learned.
Did you know the world's strongest animal is actually the beetle? In fact, in one test, the rhinoceros beetle carried over 850 times its own weight on its back. That would be like me trying to carry 130,000 pounds. I don't think so. Now let's take a look at the world's tallest animal.
The bull giraffe is about 18 feet tall. In order to get blood up that long, skinny neck against gravity, the bull giraffe has to have a powerful pump, and that's his heart. And the heart of a bull giraffe can be as much as 2.5 feet long. Big, powerful pump. Now, as he's going along here, living his life, everything's just fine, but all of a sudden, this 18-foot-tall creature decides, I need a drink of water. So he bends his head down to get a drink of water. Now we have a problem. Because now this powerful pump, instead of pumping against gravity, is pumping with gravity. And so the heart gives a mighty squeeze, and the blood shoots down his neck, hits his brain, and bursts his brain. And so now he just blew his brains out, okay? So he's dying, and he must be thinking to himself, I need to evolve something here to take care of my problem. When I get a drink of water, I blow my brains out. Of course, we know dead creatures don't evolve. But he doesn't blow his brains out, because as he bends his head down, there are like little spigots in his artery that goes up the neck, little valves, and they close. But the last pump is beyond the last valve. And so it's enough to burst the little arterioles in his brain, but it doesn't go into his brain. The last pump kind of goes whoop underneath the brain into like a sponge. And this sponge just gently expands, and he hasn't blown his brains out, and he gets his drink of water, and now he sees a zebra kind of running up from this side, and He just ignores it. But he sees a lion coming up from this side. Oh, the lion wants to eat me. I got to get out of here. Now, how does he know the difference, by the way? Evolutionists can't explain that to us. But the fact is, here comes this lion. He's going to eat the giraffe. And so the giraffe jumps up. He runs about 5 steps, passes out. Not enough oxygen to his brain. While he's there, passed out, the lion is eating him. He must be thinking, I need to evolve something here. I got this problem. I pass out when I get up too fast. But he doesn't, of course. Well, why? Well, because God made him so that when he begins to bring his head up, the little spigots, the little valves in the artery opened. The sponge under the brain gently squeezes that last little pump of oxygenated blood up into his brain. There are little valves in the vein that goes down the neck. They close. And by the time he's up and running, everything is fine. His blood pressure is fine, and he does just fine. Well, how would that evolve? He needs all of those parts, all there, all at the same time, all at once, or he's dead. And so I think the giraffe is another example of a designer. He needed a designer to design him just like he is.
The tallest giraffe known was named George. He resided at the Chester Zoo in England. George was 20 feet tall to the tips of his horns, which are actually called ossicones. Here's another interesting giraffe fact. Giraffes have no vocal cords. Now here's a bird you'll see around your house, but after taking a closer look at it, you might find it unbelievable.
The woodpecker is a very special little bird. The beak of a woodpecker is like industrial strength. It is stronger than other birds' beaks.
Oh, cute little guy. But let's check this out. Let's get back there to that giraffe. And we'd say, oh, how cool they are. I was just losing it because that is so awesome. But let's see this. And we gotta imagine though, we gotta do this. We gotta define the design. Well, it's already designed, but we gotta create this thing. But the problem is tremendous. Not only is the body, darn it, am I on it? Let me make sure I got it up there. Did I put it? Oh, I'm up there. Very cool. Okay, so not only we have the longer neck, but look at those long legs. So as we are going to build this creature, why didn't he have short legs? He could have run faster. And how many millennium did it take those trees? Because the thing is, they ate the shorter animals, and they ate all the foliage off. So they had to expand the neck. They lengthened that neck, and the legs. And as we see, how do you do that with slow, gradual mutations? So did the legs? Now, come on, guys. I'm just toying you with it now. But if you really believe that this creature happened over 100,000 years, million years, from some shorter horse-like creature, some farther back, some rodent-like creature, come on, you guys, because look at that. And you just added a little neck bone. No, you got to stretch the what happens to nerves? Nerves aren't continual. Hey, Robin, you can help me out. I have trouble, but I'm stumped to think that the giraffe, and we just saw a little video on the giraffe, could slowly mutate into this. It is something I don't think I'm going to be able to recreate. I wanted to take my dog and make over, because we have the genetics. So she has puppies. When the puppies are in there, just switch some of the genes in there to long legs. Can you imagine a dog that could actually long enough legs, it could step up into the truck itself? You don't have to pick it up. you got a bad back, it doesn't have to jump. It could just like boop, hop in there. Long neck on that dog. Man, those squirrels aren't going to be, the torment. Have you seen squirrels tormenting the dogs? Can you imagine if you had a long-legged, long-necked dog? Those squirrels would not run across the fences and torment them. And I know they do, because they'll just sit there looking at the dog and make a noise at it. Yeah, Maud, I'm sure your dog jumps high, but wouldn't it be better for it and for its back if it could just step up onto your bed instead of jumping and then jumping down at just like 1 foot down, just like we do? That would be a really good thing in evolution. Okay. Robin, the giraffe is actually a great piece of evidence of how natural selection works. That is fine, but the problem, Robin, because we believe in natural selection too, is that to get the giraffe out of a previous ancestor that had short legs, how many different, you'd have to have one with a foot tall, or an inch taller leg, inch taller neck, 2 inch taller legs, 2 inch taller neck. You'd have to have thousands of these transitions on slow, gradual mutations. Unless you're saying that mutation is not slow and gradual, and then all of a sudden you had a horse-like, I don't know if anybody knows or says they know, but it was a horse-like animal, smaller, then went way back down to some kind of a rodent-like animal. But if we look at this, it's not the natural selection, it's the slow gradual mutations, because again, your heart has to be bigger, and then your the neck would have to expand, because your nerves are not connected. Nerves are, from what I've seen, they're like little dotted lines on a freeway that the electrical impulse goes from one little piece to a next, not like veins or arteries that are one. And so you gotta add all that stuff at the same time. You gotta mutate, so it doesn't matter to mutate another, stretch the neck a little without all the muscles stretching, everything about it, and that would all have to be from mutations. And so that's the problem I have in wanting to recreate something like this. And I don't know, because just saying natural selection, I believe in natural selection. We have a ton of different dog breeds, and yes, but that is genetic information already in the dog, or it's lost from the dog. They say like your little cute little chihuahuas, little lap dogs, is actually losing genetic ability to grow big. Hairless dogs probably came from dogs with hair, and it lost that ability. So it's what I'm saying, and like I said, you can have the same information and believe that it's done without. And thank you, Robin. This is all on you. Is that an animal that was not that the mutations did not or weren't directed. Man, I had to get it right. My teacher is here. Before I get back to, I think we're going to woodpeckers. Change over time. Yeah, but how much? You'd say small and gradual increments, and And then two, I've heard, and so this is just I heard it, that had to stretch the necks to get higher into the trees. So they had a niche in their environment that shorter animals were dying out. But you see the problem there, that this is not supposed to be a quick process. And so you'd have to figure out that the forests took thousands of years, millions of years, and they're still small trees. So we got a couple of things. And let's see. Third, thank you, Robin. You're making it interesting for me. Look up the larynx nerve and the HPW original location forced the nerve to grow ridiculously long. Yes, and you look at things, and of course we have examples of things, but you would have to have them all mutate at the same time. It's not going to help to stretch the neck an inch if the nerves didn't do it yet, or if you have your nerves mutating first, and then you'd have them all have to direct it. Why didn't the nerves in its tail mutate longer, but the bones in the neck mutated longer? So it's and then two, why don't we find a lot of baby giraffes that their necks are getting longer or shorter, or the necks just gradually losing something? Now we do have sheep with shorter legs, and they die out because that's a bad mutation. The mutation for the leg length messed up. So let's see. All right, you got me here. But the giraffe is actually one animal that biologists use to debunk intelligent design. Yes, and so again, and they use the isn't it the nerve going down and around? Can't remember which part that is bad design, but again, you don't know what the design was. So if you look at the giraffe, had to start as one cell, and then split. And so your genetic code in the DNA had to start inside in a little teeny microscopic. What is that? It's an animal already. It's still the giraffe. It's just in its infancy inside the womb. If that is a womb, do all animals have wombs? I don't know. There's a giraffe. That's what we're talking about. So, because, and again, how that happens. How is it inside the mother? Is it like, does it start out with the long, there's a lot of things to how the DNA inside, and that's where a lot of the things that, you and I both disagree that Richard Dawkins, blew a lot of smoke, and he'd think the nerve that goes down around and back up, but does it hurt the animal? And could there possibly be a reason for that? Is there something beneficial about having that nerve longer? See, that's the other thing, and we've seen in science that it's like even back to Miller-Urey. It's like, we can create amino acids, the building blocks for life. And then in the 70s, I was there in the 70s. I paid attention. I had biology my first year. And no, that wasn't proof of anything except for you have to have a sterile condition, because those amino acids that they had to remove from what they thought it's a bunch of chemicals together. If they weren't removed and separated, they would have kept changing into junk. So that's the problem, is in your primordial world, and you need different types, which needs different conditions. So you have one amino acid that might be done in, or 20 of them in the Miller-Urey type of experiment, but then you have others when you go in the process of building little molecular machines, the other protein machines, they need different conditions to be created. And so you've got all these building blocks for life in their own little laboratories in the natural prebiotic world, and then you have to get them together. You can't have them mixed with, you have to have them isolated. How do you isolate those created, which chemicals? They do cool things, they attract, they unattract, they connect, they disconnect, they don't stay once they're connected in anything. So that's the problem there. And so that's why, again, you don't know what this nerve was as the baby was in the mother's womb, if they have a womb. You don't know what benefit that nerve can do and have. And we'll get to this next one, which is the woodpecker. And I just wanted to show this skeleton, because Dr. Martin did some awesome stuff. Whether you believe his conclusion, the evidence is totally cool. And anybody who loves animals must agree that's the coolest thing ever. All right, let's get back. Okay, so the next one he went on is the woodpecker. Get that going.
He has special feet. Most birds have 3 toes out the front, 1 toe out the back. Woodpecker has 2 toes out the front, 2 toes out the back. And that's so he can climb around on a tree trunk, a vertical tree trunk, right side up, upside down, sideways. He can crawl any way he wants to. He has special tail feathers. His tail feathers are different than other birds' tail feathers. They're more resilient, they're spongy, and they're very strong and tough, because he tripods himself with his 2 feet and his tail feathers, so that he grabs a hold of that tree, fans out his tail feathers, and then bangs his head into the tree. Now, you would think that a woodpecker would go home every night and say to Mrs. Woodpecker, "Oh, I got this headache. I was banging my head on a tree all day." But he doesn't. Why? Well, because God made him with special equipment. For instance, between his beak...
Now, again, this is a creationist now. He went from full-fledged evolutionary dental professor to being challenged on his beliefs and investigated, and from the evidence, this is his conclusion. And so you look at that, so your feet are backwards. So did that mutation happen before? Was it a bad mutation that is like, ooh, for a normal bird, but it turned out to be beneficial for this one? But it's only beneficial because he's climbing up and hitting his head against the wood and the tail. So my problem, Robin, is that I'm going to create one of these animals. One of these animals, I'm going to take a bunch of little chemicals, bunch of stuff, and create this. Why can't we? Is it that complex that all the advancement in science and technology can't touch this? It's not as simple as the Darwin believers, when he was around, really believed, or were they just trying to get away from the Church of England, which was that's why so many people came to the United States, getting away from the Royal Church of England. Let's see.
In his skull, there's a piece of cartilage. It acts as a shock absorber. His skull is the thickest bone per body weight of any creature. As a matter of fact, brain surgeons study the brains of woodpeckers, how they're hooked in there and everything, to help them with like trauma people in accidents, that they need to put their brains back in there. And so they study woodpeckers. The woodpecker, with his strong skull and his shock absorber and his strong beak and his tail feathers and his feet, he's all ready to go, except for one thing. Once he drills his hole, he's got to get that bug out of the tree, because that's lunch, all right, well, how's he going to do that? Well, most birds, their tongue goes right to the tip of the beak. A woodpecker's tongue goes as much as 10 inches out of his beak. Now, why? Well, because he's going to drill.
Okay, a 10-inch tongue. Okay, well, who's that singer that cut his tongue in half or whatever, split tongue guy? I mean, even him would have just dreamed about a 10-inch tongue. How does that evolve on the creature that needs it? So his hard head, his shock absorber, skull, all this stuff is worthless without being able to extract the bug. See our problem. Again, now I'm frustrated because I can't even create a feather. And we know how awesome and complex those things are. And let's see. I just got the cane. What do they call that? Ooh, it's late. It's not 12:49, is it? I think my computer's lying to me. It's only 10 o'clock, but we have to get up early. Oh, we're going to Lake Day tomorrow with the youth group. Philip's got a trip to the lake. But let's finish the...
Drill the hole, find the bug tunnel down in the tree, stick his tongue down in the tunnel, and drag the bug out. Now, you would have to say, could I stick my tongue down a hole in a tree and drag a bug out? Of course not. Well, how does the woodpecker do that? Well, God made the woodpecker with little barbs on the tip of his tongue. And he will literally stab that bug larva down in there because it doesn't want to come out. But in case that's not enough, he has a little glue factory in his tongue that manufactures precisely the right glue to stick to the bug, but it doesn't stick to his beak. And so he pulls that bug into his mouth. Now we have a problem. If evolution is true, let's say over hundreds of thousands of years, this woodpecker got all this equipment. And then he glues his tongue to a bug and he swallows the bug. What just happened to his tongue? He just swallowed his tongue. You know, he dies, he just strangled himself, okay? But he doesn't. Why? Well, because as he brings the bug into his mouth, he has another little factory that manufactures the solvent to dissolve the glue. So he dissolves the glue, loosens up the bug, swallows the bug. God made him that way. Woodpeckers, when they peck, they open their eyes between each peck. And they aim their beak, they focus, they aim their beak, they close their eyes, and then they hit the tree. So you hear a woodpecker out there, he's going, drr, drr. Every time you hear that, drr, in between each peck, he opens his eyes, focuses, aims his beak, hits the tree. Why? Well, they used to think it was just to keep the wood chips out. But now the scientists have measured the force of the impact of the woodpecker's head against the tree. And the force is so great that if he did not close his eyes, he would pop his eyeballs out. So I would say, have you ever seen a blind woodpecker? No, they never miss. They never miss, okay? Now, one special woodpecker, the European green woodpecker. I think he's unique in all the animal kingdom. I don't know for sure, but I think he might be. His tongue is different than any other tongue, as far as I know. Our tongue starts in the back of our throat, comes up and out the front. His tongue starts in the back of his throat, goes down the throat, comes out the back of his neck, up over the top of his head. It's under the skin. Comes out a little hole between his eyes, goes in one of his nostrils, and then comes out of his beak. And you would have to say, now how does that evolve? I've asked evolutionists that question. I've said, now you tell me, how and where did that tongue come from?
All right, Robin, you have a lot of good answers and thank you so much, because I do want to, give the evidence and then just evidence of what happens. Of course, Dr. Martin has a creationist twist on it, but I'm really thankful you're here because I like having the other side. But again, these things, it's so many coincidences, and is it easier out of the trillions and trillions of changes in all the biology we have seen and see that these are design aspects that had a designer, or they were just happened without any direction? Maybe one animal or one little section of this, but now, so because natural selection and changes, we see these woodpeckers, some of them have different tongues, different hooks, barbs on their tongues, but was that actually new information, or was that already in the genome with the diversity of the genome itself? when you have two parents. So these are things in it. So to me, I just don't want people to say it's like, oh, you just believe in fairy tales. And it's like, I'm right back at you, because again, you're having trillions and trillions of these, and your mechanism is mutations that aren't directed. So, and we see animals, we've studied animals, we've have lives of trying to change the insects, bugs into something thousands and thousands of generations, which should, by evolutionary mathematics, have done something that actually progresses that animal to something, a new niche, a new place. Bacteria is the same thing. So that's the thing here, is just that we see the same evidence, and you know, part of the population that said it was intelligently designed, created, and those that don't. So that's it. And then thank you so much, because I'm glad I could post your comments up here, because I do want both sides. And where'd we go? I gotta get him back on. Where'd you go? Oh, he's right there. All right.
They don't have a clue. They can't tell me. I'm saying, well, you're telling me that this bird evolved from some other creature, but there's no other creature that we know of with a tongue like that. How did that happen? They don't have any idea. So what could I say as a creationist? I would say God made that little woodpecker, and I think he made that woodpecker to challenge the evolutionary community, because as they study that little bird, they know there is no way this little thing could evolve. But it goes right back to that Romans 1 passage, that as men study the creation, it says they study what God has made. Because they are unrighteous, they will suppress evidence. They will hold back evidence. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think there are very bright people who study science and do a good job of it. But all of a sudden they get to a point where they have to decide, did this thing happen over long periods of time somehow? Or, boy, it sure looks like it could have happened just bang, just like it is. And then if they discover,
I'm glad,
hey, I have no way of describing this thing in terms of evolutionary science, they're faced with the other option, which is maybe a designer and a creator, and they say, I don't want to go that way, okay? So they suppress that evidence. And so many of the things that I studied, we had to search just to find information on them, because they are not in the textbooks. They just don't put them in, because they have no way to explain it. And so they just ignore it.
Another bird that got Dr. Martin's attention lives down under, mate, in Australia.
There's a little bird in Australia. It's called the Australian incubator bird. Some people...
You can look this up. I just got the word. I got late tonight. Sorry about that. There was technical stuff that was above my pay grade. I finally did it, though. That's why I'm an hour late, 2 hours late. What was I? But thanks so much, Robin. Thanks. Thanks, Maud. Hopefully you're going to sleep. And I know this has been fun for me. And but this, let me see if we can find him. Anybody who wants to look, he's Dr. Martin.
We'll call it the mound builder.
This was early in his career, after he was convinced that the evolution he taught in his as a dental professor had some problems, and trying to figure out how to get his info. It's Exploration Films. There we go. If we can see it in the bottom there. Yeah. Incredible Creatures That Defy Evolution. There's a lot more. There's 3 parts. And it's David Hames as the narrator, and Job Martin was the dental professor. So we're gonna get out of here though on that. And just thank you so much. Yeah, I love you too, Robin. And again, this would have been less than a good show for me without you here to show the other side. I'm not here in Proverbs, guys. We're not afraid of dissension. I mean, we're not God, and so we like digging into information. And again, I just don't see that the best explanation is what the science community, the majority of the science community is saying. And anyway, thanks so much. I'm gonna have to get out of here, or I might not evolve past this day. Because again, we're gonna have a church youth trip to the lake tomorrow, and have some family time because Gemma, myself, and Philip are going, and his little nephew and my son-in-law are going, along with a bunch of other people. So it should be fun. We haven't done anything like that this summer yet. So, you guys and Robin, hope so much that your daughter is moved close and that you guys can have some closer quality time, because I know you have so much information about her. You guys must talk a lot, and that must have been hard being all the way in California. So hopefully that's been already. Yep, we'll have fun tomorrow. Work this week. We're going to do one of the largest 1,000 square foot garden and one of the largest themed garden shows in the country. I think we're the 6th or 7th in our dinky little town here, and we're just so blessed to have it here. Pretty cool. We're not that big of a city. All good, Robin. So how far away from that? I thought you were in Kentucky. Or your milk delivery was in. No, I thought you were in Kentucky. How far away is she? Luckily, the farthest daughter away from me is about an hour and a half. So that's not too far. And the other two, one of them's 5 minutes away, and the other one's like 10 minutes away. And aren't you in Kentucky too, Robin? I thought, but you know me, I could be way off. I know you're close. But anyway, God bless everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, Maud's gone, but Krista's in bed. Right, so you're both in Kentucky, right? Oh, she moved. Right, but aren't you in Kentucky too, Robin? Let me get this out of here. I don't even know what that is. I'm seeing a white screen. I don't know what that is. Where'd it go? Boom. Uh-oh. Gemma just told me I put the ducks. We have 3 little ducks. They're so fun. They just walk around. They're running ducks, so they walk up tall, and they just they're characters. I got to do a video of the ducks, but I put them away at night because I don't have a big pen for them. So I put them in the back of my truck so they don't get eaten. Good. Thank you, Rob. That's what I was thinking. You're both in Kentucky, and I'm so happy for you because I know, so much fun having kids around, especially even if they're in the 40s. My daughter's 40, 50, one's 30, something like that. Of course, I'm getting too old to remember my own age, but all right, God bless everybody. Let's see if we can have a cool music thing. Thanks again, Robin, for giving me the other side. I'm going to have to get your information so I get you up here because that was perfect. I don't want to have a one-sided discussion here. Give people all the options so they can make up their own minds. And where are we? Oh, I want to have a cool music thing. Let's see if we got it. Stephen has done so many cool things, and I can't. They're kind of little. This is a 3-minute. I just want a short one. See you on the This one probably short. God bless you.